You cannot fix a broken team by managing harder. You fix it by leading more clearly. If you have a team that's getting burned out and becoming more and more negative, leaning more into empathy and sympathy is actually going to make it worse. What makes it better is you stepping up as a leader. Find out what that means in this episode.
Welcome to Leadership Mindset 2.0. Practical neuroscience and psychology to transform you from a tactical doer into a strategic leader. Here is your host, former social entrepreneur of the year and coach to some of the world's top executives, R. Michael Anderson.
Hello, dear leader. Michael here. Every Fridays, I go into my Growth Leaders Collective private membership group and answer real-life questions from the leaders in the group. And on this last Friday, somebody sent in a really interesting question with a complex situation, and I answered it. And afterwards, I thought a lot of people could benefit from this. So I've taken the Q&A, which was on a Facebook Live in the group, and we've put it into a podcast. Now, I'm going to give you this scenario, and I've anonymized it for privacy purposes. So what the leader wrote in is she took over as a chief of a medical department 9 months ago under difficult circumstances. The previous chief stepped down due to a family illness, leaving unaddressed issues behind. Since then, team members have left, others are out on medical leave, and the administration is pushing for the same patient volume with fewer people. When she asked her team to take on more patients, one person openly refused and others followed. The team is burned out and negative. Workload statistics match other centers, so she can't get more resources. She has made process improvements. Nothing has shifted the atmosphere. Her question is, how do I turn this around without more resources? There's a lot of great stuff here on this that is probably applicable to every leader out there. So slow down, buckle up, and here we go. Now, here is my diagnosis under the question. You are leading from empathy without authority. In the original question, I heard, I understand where they're coming from, appears 3 times in the question. Empathy is good, but empathy is not a substitute for direction. You cannot get paralyzed from your empathy. And I'm going to talk more about that in a second. The loud, negative person is, in a way, the leader of the team right now, and people are taking directions from them. When that person refuses and other follows, when other people follow, the team showed you who they're calibrating to. And it also sounds like you're trying to fix everything at once, and you're being more tactical than strategic. You're being more management than leadership. And you are, because you are dealing with a negative, probably toxic culture, dysfunctional culture, you're trying to work on things down here when you need to be working on things up here, and then having them fall down, cascade down. And you are spreading yourself too thin. And now change and culture like this take time, and you have to be really focused and clear about what you're doing in the process. We're going to talk more about that too. Then you're in the sandwich here because you have admin pressure, you have pressure from the top to perform, and then team pushback. But you need to have a clear story about where your department is going. Right now, you just have a list of problems and fires. There's no forward looking. When we talk about owner and victim, when you have a victimhood team that is focused on what you can't do in the past, you need to create an ownership which is based on a created future. There is likely potentially some what you may call unprocessed grief in the room. The previous chief left under really tragic circumstances, and I don't know their relationship to the previous chief. There may be things that need to be talked about, even if they're difficult, around the last boss, around the culture, whatever. So here is what you have to remember. Your leadership is a reflection of the relationship with yourself. So you need to move out of this anxious, conflict-avoided, trying to please place and really understand, what do you want to create? And really hold honestly to that. Because they're looking for leadership. They need leadership. They don't need problems fixed. They need a vision. They need a strategy. That's what they're looking for. So here's a couple different things you can do. One is meet one-on-one with that loud negative person and have an honest conversation with them. You need to get this out, and you need to see if this person can change. You need to hear them out. A lot of people probably need to be heard. So you can ask them what's going on, and then you can talk about what you want to create with them. And you need to know, are they on board or are they not on board? And are they going to give you a chance or not give you a chance? And if they're not going to give you a chance, they're going to stay in this negative thing, then maybe you put them on a improvement program or something. You may have to take some drastic measures here. So that's what you need to do. But what you want to do is you want to get them, you could say, hey, this is what I want to create. I need your help getting there. And see if they will be somebody who is going to get on board with that or not. But if you are going to have somebody that's stuck in their toxicity and victimhood, they need to leave your team, because you can't work based on what you said. You're in a hole here. Your loyalty has to be to the team and the customers, or in this case, your patients. I know you care about individuals in the team, but you're there to get a job done, and you need to focus people on getting that job done. Right now, they're focused on why their life sucks. You need to focus them on getting their job. Sounds like you've been working on processes. Processes don't fix the culture when they're waiting for leadership. That's why you need to understand what you actually stand for as a leader. What culture do you want to build? Have you presented that to the team? Have you told them that they, in a subtle or not so subtle way, they need to get on board with this, or this is not the right team for them? I know this sounds hard, but you are in a difficult situation. All of what you're talking about seems very reactive. You need to get proactive and get clear. And I'm not saying this is easy. This takes courage and this takes work. Once you get clear on what you stand for and what the vision and the strategy of the team is, everything gets easier, including the difficult conversations. And I know that you have empathy for your team, because you keep saying, I understand where they're coming from. So you understand the experience. It does not mean accepting excuses. You can hold high standards and have deep care for your people at the same time. Most people pick one. They either have high standards or they deeply care for the people. Great leaders do both. Right now, all I hear you have is you have care and you wish that they would measure up to these standards. However, the team feels unled. They just feel like they're getting all these things to do. The funny thing is, when you hold people accountable and give them raised standards in the right way, it will raise morale, not lower it. Now, if your people are burned out, I hear what you're saying, that the data says that they are doing just as much patience as other teams. Don't hammer on this, because if they're burned out, it's emotionally could drain them. And it invalidates their lived experience. And it makes you sound like some out of touch boss. So burnout is real, even if their work out on paper isn't unusual. The burnout comes from feeling unsupported, being directionless, and having no hope. So be careful, or stop using the comparison data. You have one thing, I think it sounds like, where you asked versus expect. You asked your staff to see more patients. Was it a question or was it a directive? Because don't ask a question if you're telling people to do things. You probably have, honestly, this is my job as a coach, is you probably went around this the wrong way. So you don't want to ask or consult people if you're not actually consulting them. This is what needs to get done. This is what needs to get done for the team. This is not what needs to get done for the patients. So you're not there to micromanage them, but you need to clarify what their job requires, understanding what's getting in the way and remove what I can, and making sure that the team gets what they need to do done. And again, simplify things. It sounds like you're working on too many things, and you can bring your team into this too. Say, okay, this is a situation. I think, to me, what's needed is a regroup. Have some one-on-ones with your people, listen to them, and then get everybody together and say, look, this is where we're at. This is where we're going. What are the one or two things we're going to work on to make life better? In the meantime, this is what we need out of you. And this is a short-term issue. What we're going to do is, once we get these done, things will be better, but we need everybody to suck it up. And I know everybody's tired, but this is the way we get out of this. Otherwise, it's just going to get worse. And you have to get clear about who you are and where you're going. And there may be some pushback during that. But what you want to do is you want to plant the seeds with one-on-ones before this meeting. And if you have coaching available, you need some coaching around this, or maybe HR has that, or you could talk to me, maybe you could talk to other coaches. This is some difficult stuff. That's what they need. Your team it needs a narrative, needs strategy, needs vision. The message again is something like, hey, we're going through the hardest stretch this department has ever seen. A year from now, 12 months from now, we would either be the team that crumbled or the team that figured out how to do this. And I'm choosing the second one. I want you with me. Are you with me? And if they're not with you, that's okay. Then they can find their way on another team. Maybe there's some conversations that need to be made about the history, how you got there, maybe even your previous chief and the family illness. How did that affect the chief's decision-making and how they were showing up? And maybe there just needs to be some stuff talked about. With your upward leadership, there's still more you can do. You can go to your upward leadership and say, hey, I understand that we are just treading water here. I also need some help, whether it's with coaching, whether it's with some additional resources. Tell them, here's my plan. I could use some help on my plan. I need some time on my plan, whatever it is. But just don't tell them, hey, we're struggling or this is a problem. They want to hear your narrative too. And they can give you help if they understand that you thought about it, you have a vision, and you're moving them forward. And what you really want to do is you need 2 or 3 people whose energy is still intact and believes in your vision. Doesn't have to be everybody. Identify them, have them back you up. So again, here's a few tactical moves you can make in the next 2 weeks. One-on-ones with every team member, not status updates, real conversation. How are you? What's working? What's not? What do you need from me? Listen, take notes. Don't try to solve anything in the meetings. Tell your team, we're going to do a reset. And then an honest team meeting where you name reality and talk about how mood's low, it's time to change that. Here's what this is about. You have to have that private conversation with a loud negative person and say, look, what happened in the meeting can't happen again. I want to support you and I want to understand what's expected of you. And if that's not okay with them, that's okay. They can, again, find somewhere else. An upward meeting with your bosses where you have a plan and an ask, not a complaint. Show up powerfully in that meeting. Pick 1 or 2 issues to solve in the next 90 days. Come up with a narrative, come up with a strategy, come up with a vision, and tell your team. You're not going to fix a team like this by managing harder. You fix it by leading more clearly. This is a leadership issue, not a management issue. Good luck. I'm here to get your back. If you have other questions or whatever, let me know. And thank you for asking this, because I bet a lot of people got a lot of information out of this. And look, this is going to take you time. This is going to take energy. This is going to take effort. This sounds like things are tough already, but the more you can do these things and just chip away at things, this is going to take weeks and months, not hours and days. Good luck, dear leader. You have this. You got this. Okay, dear leader. There we go. I told you there was a lot in there. Now, for your challenge for this episode, where are you managing harder where you need to lead more clearly? Where do you have people in your team that are looking for direction? They're looking for purpose. They're looking for structure. And all you're doing is telling them, I know you're burned out. I know it's tough. Too bad, too bad, too bad. And based on what you learned here, what steps do you need to take? And just take that first step. Have that first conversation. Get things started into giving them and the team what they need to be successful. I know a lot of this stuff isn't easy, but that's what we're leaders. That's what we signed up for. And remember, change like this can take time, but that's what they need from you is clarity and consistency. So go out there, dear leader, and make it happen. I know you can do it. You got this. If fear and self-doubt are keeping you stuck as a leader, if you still experience imposter syndrome, if you sometimes don't raise your hand and speak up in meetings, if you're not quote unquote playing offense with your career, putting yourself out there, developing strategic relationships, and taking the necessary steps to continue getting ahead, whether it's your career or scaling your business, then I have exactly what you need. Myself and Shannon Sedlacek are hosting a 2-day leadership intensive in Montreal, Canada on October 2nd and 3rd. In this powerful 2 days, you're going to be led through a series of exercises where you are going to learn how to develop your relationship with fear. Fear is natural. Fear, in a way, is good. But what you need as a leader is tools and skills to work with that. Because if you want to keep moving up and moving forward in life, you're still going to experience fear. We just got to give you the tool set to work with it. If you want more information, go to r.michaelanderson/intensive. We're hosting a reception the day before. If you get there on the Thursday, the day before October 1st, you get a chance to hang out with me and Shannon for a little while before the real work starts on the Friday and the Saturday. This is ideal for leaders who really want to invest in their growth and love the in-person format. This is not virtual. This is us sitting in a really powerful room. In fact, we're calling it the bravest room in Montreal. So if you're interested at all, go to the link. If you have any questions, if it's right for you, if you're right for it, drop me a note. We'll figure it out. This is limited to 10 spots, and we already have 5 accounted for. So if you're interested, make a move now, because it is going to be a powerful event that you're going to want to make sure you're there for. I'll see you in Montreal.